Good morning, everyone. We are looking at 18.2 for Group D. It is Thursday, April the 16th. It was very nice talking to everyone yesterday. I hope everyone was able to work or try to play with the Brain Pop website, and we'll be talking more about it on Friday. So please give me some feedback on Friday. Just tell me what you like, what you didn't like, or what how the program was for you. So we're at this point right now where you took your quiz yesterday, and we're looking at your 18.2 lesson for today. So once Friday comes in, I'll start looking at where you are right now, Group D. I think we're moving along pretty well. So if we have to slow it down, we can. If we have to speed it up, we're getting these pretty well, we'll speed it up. So it all depends on how well we do. But no worries, we still have plenty of time. And we're looking at using time intervals. So now we're going to see how you can find a starting time or an ending time when you know elapsed time. Your last lesson was determining elapsed time. Today's lesson is we're going to try to find the ending time or starting time given the elapsed time. So everything is interrelated. And again, it may seem a little complicated right now, but if you just follow the steps that we're going to work on right now, it'll make this a little bit more clearer. Okay? I like to draw pictures, and I think if you do the same, you can. Some of you will be able to see that clock in your head and be able to move the hands, count, and subtract or add. So whatever works for you is fine with me. Okay? So long as you understand the concept of what you're doing, we'll be okay. If there's addition or subtraction issues, we can fix that later. The concept of determining the starting or ending time with the elapsed time, that's what we need to focus on today. So let's look at 18.2, use time intervals. We're looking at this section, and again, how can you find a starting time or an ending time when you know the elapsed time? So we're going to practice with this one right now. And again, they give you the information here. So Jacob begins working on his ocean project at 1:30. All right. So that's the time given here, right? 1:30. He spends 30 minutes painting a model of Earth and 12 minutes labeling the continents and oceans. Your question is, what time does Jacob finish working on his project? Okay. What time do you need to find? Okay. What time do you need to find? Well, the time it took Jacob to finish working on his project. So that goes here. So we're going to use the number line real quick, and it walks you through it. Find the time on the number line when Jacob started working on the project. Okay. So we look at 1:30. Okay. And we know he spent how many working on the project? So if we add those two together, he spent 42 minutes working on the project. We know that because of this. So if we start, we know we're going to have to add 42 minutes to the starting time. Okay? Okay? So we know because we know when he began. So we want to know what time he finished. So from 1:30, we're going to add, so now we just jump. So we know we're going to have to jump 30 minutes. So if we jump 30 minutes, 1:30 is going to take us to 2 o'clock. Okay? And that's 30 minutes. That's this jump here. Okay? We subtract 30 from this one. We know we're left with 12 minutes. So if I start here with 12 at 2 o'clock, and I jump another 12. Now I could go by 5s, I could go by 10 and 2, but if I already know I'm just jumping, I need 12 more minutes. I add those 12, and it's 2:12. Okay, so the jump ends at 2:12. Okay, let me erase that for you. So if you look at this one here, So Jacob finishes working on his project at 2:12. Okay? Or if you look at the analog clock, we know we have 42 minutes that we need to count back or to add to it. So he starts here at 1:30, and then we just count by fives till we get to 42. So it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and then I add two more, so it's 40, and then 1, 2, and then it's 2:12. Okay? So that's how you do that. That's a number line. This is more of a visual. Whatever works for you is fine. Now if we go on and look at your next one, okay, we have Whitney here. Whitney swam laps in the pool for 25 minutes. Okay, I know that. She finished at 11:15 a.m. So they give you the ending time here. Okay, at what time did Whitney start swimming? Okay, so find the time on the number line when Whitney finished. So we know it's 11:15. Now we need to count back on the number line to subtract the elapsed time. What is the elapsed time? It's 25 minutes. So now we need to jump back 25 minutes. So if I start at 11:15 and I count back, I want to go to 11 o'clock. So if I go back 15, I'm at 11 o'clock. Right? And that's 15 minutes. So that's this jump right here. 15 minutes, and then I'm back at 11 o'clock. If I subtract 15 from 25, right, because I already went back 15 minutes, I'm left with what? I still have 10 more minutes to count backwards. So from 11, I jump another 5. That's 10:55. That's 5. I jump another 5, and I'm at 10:50. Okay, so you jump back to 10:50. So she started swimming at 10:50. Okay, does that make sense? And if we add these, 10 plus 15 gives you 25. So the key is starting from 11:15 and then going back 15 to get to 11 o'clock. You can also go by fives if you want. Okay, you're still going to end up at 10:50. Or you could have used the analog clock. If you use the analog clock, it's the same thing. You start at 11:15 and then you count backwards. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and what did you fall on? You went back to the 10, and then if the clock keeps going back here, this is 11, and then it goes back 10:55 and 10:50. Okay, so it's still 10:50. So whichever method is easier for you. Okay, once you know the elapsed time and you know the ending or starting time, you just either count backwards or count forwards. The only thing is you have to visualize this, or you can use the number line. Whichever one is easier for you. Okay? So let's take a look at this one here. Use the number line to find the starting time if elapsed time is 35 minutes. Okay? So it's 35 minutes. I know the elapsed time is 35 minutes. So I'm going to go backwards 35 minutes. So if I start at 5:10, okay, I want to get back to the original time of 5 o'clock. So that's 5. Okay, so now everything that I go backwards is going to go to 4 o'clock, right? Because I've already done 10. So if I subtract 10 from my 35, I have what? I have 25 more minutes to count backwards. So from 5 o'clock, if I go 10, it's what? It's 4:50, right? So subtract 10 here. I'm left with 15 more, so I could jump another 10. Okay, what was my time here? Oh, 4:50. Go back another 10. I'm at what? 4:40. Subtract 10. I need to go back another 5. and another 5, subtract 5, go backwards 5 more, and that's 435. Okay, and here's 5. So 5 plus 15 plus 10, okay, 35. Okay, does that make sense? So I'm sorry, this is not 5. This is 10 here. Okay, so that's all. That's all you need to do. Go back 10. That's 5. And I'm doing this again because the numbers don't look too good. Okay. Oh, you know what? I have it over here too. Let me find it and show it to you nice and cleaner over here. Okay. So again, you start at 10:15. I'm sorry, is that it? No, that's not it. We're doing this one right? Yes. So you start at 5:10, and again, you go back to 5 o'clock. That's 10 minutes. Then you go back 15. And this one they went back 15. So from 5, subtract 15. That's 445. You subtract, go back another 10, and you land at 435. Okay. So once you do this, and if you can add these two up right here, that equals to 35 minutes. Okay. Okay, we're going to look at this one, number 2 here. Did we do number 1? That was number 1. Okay, find the ending time. So your starting time is at 1:40. 1:40. And elapsed time is 20 minutes for lunch and 13 minutes to walk. So I'm going to go one by one. I'm going to do this one first. So if I go from 1:40 and I jump 20 minutes, that's 5 o'clock. Okay, I already did 20 minutes. Now I need walk another 13 minutes. So if I go another 13, that'll be what, 5:13. Oops, let me get you the cleaner one. Okay. I was just saying 5 o'clock over here. I'm sorry. It's 1:40. Okay, and then I add the 20 minutes. It's 2 o'clock. I said 5 o'clock here. I don't know why. I'm sorry. My brain is thinking on something else. I apologize for that. So 1:40, we add the 20. It goes to 2 o'clock. It's 2:13. I think I remember saying I said 5:13. I apologize for that. And then from 2 o'clock, we're done this one already. We add the 13 minutes, and now it's 2:13. Okay, so the answer is 2:13 here. If you look at this one, if you look at the clock, okay, see starting time is 9:55. It's right here. So then we do the first one. Rode the bike for 15 minutes, so we go 15, 5, 10, 15. It's here. So if it's already 9:55, here it's 10:05. And then we add 12 minutes. So 5, 10, falls into 20, and then 2 more. That's 10:22. So if you just jump one at a time, do the 15, and then do the 12, you'll land on 10:22. And again, some of you will be able to see this. Some of you will have to do this one, but once you start doing this one more and more regularly, you'll start visualizing this. Okay. Take a look at this one here. So analyze the question. Okay. The first morning, Courtney walked on the beach for 10 minutes. Okay. The first morning. So we're looking at morning here, and we're going to use this chart to help us. Okay. So in the morning, first morning, so that'll be day 1, because that's first morning. Courtney walked on the beach for 10 minutes, and then she swam for 10 minutes. Okay, so what's the total That's 20 minutes. We have 20 minutes where she did these two activities. So she finished her walk and swim 30 minutes before high tide. 30 minutes before high tide. At what time did Courtney start her walk? So how did we get an 8:10? Well, you have to look at your tide here. You have low tide? No, because it says high tide. This is afternoon. This is morning. So we're going to go to morning because it's AM. So 30 minutes before high tide, 30 minutes before the start of high tide, if you go back 30 minutes from 9 o'clock, you're at 8:30. Okay, does that make sense? 30 minutes before 9 o'clock, you're going back 30 minutes, that's 8:30. Okay? But she spent 20 minutes doing these activities. So then I subtract 20 and I get 8:10. That's when she started, at 8:10. And if you want to check it, okay, you can add the 30 minutes and then add the 20 and you'll get to 9 o'clock. Okay? So that's how you do that. The key is here is to go to day 1, go to the AM, and go to the first morning. Okay? And this is the key right here. 30 minutes before high tide. And so you have to be able to analyze this. Okay, 30 minutes before this, and I got my clock here. Oops. Again, I like to have my clock. I got my clock here. If this is 9 AM here, 30 minutes before, it'll fall here at 8:30. And then I subtract the 20 and I'll fall here at 8:10. So again, you're going to have different ways of visualizing this. So the next one is the third afternoon. Okay, Courtney started collecting shells at low tide. The third afternoon. So day 3, started collecting shells at low tide. At low tide. So low tide is here. Okay. But is it the AM or is it the PM? Well, it says third afternoon, so I'm going to use the PM. This is the key here of using this one here. So it's day 3, afternoon. This is when low tide starts. Started collecting shells for 35 minutes. At what time did Courtney finish collecting shells? Well, if she started at 4:30, 4:30 here, and 35 minutes from 4:30, 30 minutes here, that's 5 o'clock, right? Because 4, you add 30 to 4:30, you'll get to 5. But then I still have 5 minutes left, so 5:05. That's how you get that answer. The key is to go to day 3, to go to the PM. If you go to use the AM, your number's going to be off. And how do I know it's PM? Because it says afternoon. That they're going to give you multiple choices here. And the key is to be able to analyze that. Okay, that was a little bit tricky if you move too fast. Okay, here's another one. Susie began fishing at 10:30 a.m. Okay. And she finished until 10 a.m. Okay. So from 10:30, again, here's my clock. 10:30. This is 10:30. If she fished until 11:10, so that 11:10 is, this is 11, 5, 10. How many minutes was that? Well, 30, 11:30 to get to 11, that's 30. Then 35, 40. So that's 40 minutes, okay, that she spent fishing. James finished at 11:45. Okay, James finished at 11. So if James finished at 11:45, I know that. And this is the key right here. He fished for the same length of time as Susie. So how many minutes did Susie spend fishing? She spent 40 minutes. At what time did James start fishing? Well, if I know He spent the same amount of time that Susie was fishing. That's 40. I know when he finished, all I have to do is subtract 40 from that, and I get 11:05. And the key is also AM. So you just have to take a look at the questions. You have to look at what you know, and you have to be able to visualize your clock. Now, this is a very rudimentary clock. Doesn't have any numbers or anything. It's once you do this for a long time, you'll be able to know what we're doing here. And if you can't do this like this, then do your number line. And your number line will give you the same. But once you start analyzing your questions here and the information here, you're going to be able to figure this out real quick. Okay? So just do the steps. Repeat the video if you have any questions or you still have any problems with how we found the answers. Okay? You have your daily task assessment. Draw your pictures. Draw your number lines. And see what makes sense here. Now we're going to get to the point where you're going to start having questions with daily task assessments and your homework practice, because some of these concepts may be a little bit newer than the other ones where we probably already had some multiplication and division skills from our background. But now we're going into new topics, new objectives. And if you have any questions on this, when we meet on the video chats, send me a little chat or a little text on it, and I'll start reading them. And before we finish, I'll keep some of you with me at the end of the session, and then we'll go over some of these. Okay, depending on how many people we have, I may divide you into groups, but we'll work all that out, because I'll have to guide you one-on-one or as a group in more detail. So good luck with this. Do your best. Okay, again, if you have questions, send me an email as quick as possible, and I can find other activities to guide you through, and maybe we could set up a video chat session sometime in the near future, and so we could discuss and work these things out. Because at this point, from this point on, we may be getting into some objectives that we may need to be able to. We're going to have to be speaking one-on-one on live chats, because sometimes the explanations that I do with these instructional videos right now may not be enough, or you may have other questions. Okay, so that's where we're at right now, but we'll practice and we'll try to get this together. So good luck on your quiz, on your daily task assessment. Good luck on your homework. We'll check this one the next day and see how you did before you take your quiz online on Think Central. So thank you again for being attentive. Be good. Make sure you wash your hands and be nice to one another. Make sure you let your parents know that you love them and you thank them for everything that you do. Okay, so this is Mr. Lopez signing off. We'll see you again on today's Friday. So goodbye.